So good morning or early morning for some of you who've joined in, or good afternoon, good evening, because I know Terry is from America and it's late afternoon, evening there on the East Coast. So hey, Maria, nice to see you. So welcome, guys, to our monthly webinar. It's an hour of power, and literally today is going to be 58 minutes because I do have a call I need to be on smack bang at 11 a.m. So we're going to do our best to go through these 10 top marketing most powerful strategies for your book and what I have found. So today we're going to talk about things that us within our business and that we've seen our authors do out there in the marketplace. I'm a big believer that you can't talk about something you haven't done, right? There's many different marketing and sales strategies out there in the world, but I think, and I'm currently writing my 15th book, and I've been talking about investments and all this sort of stuff. I'll reveal a little bit later what it is about. But like I write about it, I go, I can't talk about something I've never done before. That would be inauthentic, right? So just because we give you these are our top 10 most powerful marketing and sales strategies for promoting a book and getting it out there and getting it noticed and getting yourself noticed as an author. Is there more? Of course, there is more. Other people teach different strategies and all that sort of stuff, but this is from our experience and from action that we have taken. So briefly, I have got my team here on the call. Lindy is our events coordinator over in the Philippines, so she's taking attendance, and she'll send you, if we promise, any resources after the call, or she'll also send a recording afterwards so you have a copy of that. We have got Wendy and Em, our book strategists, and they will be co-presenting. So what we have done these last few months when we run this 1 hour seminar is we co-present. Right, Stuart's going to talk about 1 or 2 strategies. Em is going to talk about a couple, Wendy and myself. So we're going to share, so you learn from 4 different people here on the call, and we'll go through the top 10 here. So briefly, I know quite a few of you already know who we are here on the call, but I always like to very quickly do a 2-minute introduction of who we are and where we started from. And we started basically 48 Hour Author nearly 11 years ago coming up now. We celebrated 10 years last October when it was our very first retreat, when we ran our program face-to-face. And this was the first group of authors that had a group book launch. And since then, we grew and grew nationally, then internationally, went to the US for a couple of tours. We had a 2-year partnership in the Middle East, and we completed 28 live retreats in Australia, and to date 20 virtual retreats. So in 3 weeks time we have our 49th Ultimate 48 Hour Author retreat coming up. We had a big party when it was the 10-year celebration, a mix of authors from all the different years that are based over in Melbourne, and I'm up to the 15th book, so there'll be another book on this slide very, very soon. Lots of publicity, awards, and this is our family. We work hard, but we play very hard as well. We just returned from our Bali school holiday trip, and now back on deck for the second half of 2024. So that's just a little bit about who we are and what we do, and we absolutely love doing what we do. And we have even now started coming out back in real life. We just did the Melbourne event on Tuesday, which was freezing because the room didn't have good enough heating. But anyway, everyone loved it. And we did Gold Coast, and we're coming up to do Sydney in 2 weeks. I don't know if there's any Sydney people, but Sydney's on the 30th of July, face-to-face. And then Brisbane Gold Coast is coming up in August. So all of that's happening. And Maria, I got to meet Maria at the Melbourne event, and she's one of my newest authors. It was freezing, wasn't it, Maria? But we got there in the end, right? All right, you guys, so let's get stuck into it. We're going to do about 5 odd minutes per strategy. And then we're going to actually start off with Stuart. And if anyone is sharing something that I think you need to have a screen share of, I'll flick across to some slides, or I'll find something, and I'll be the maestro here in the background, manipulating or showing you different things from my end. All right, Stuart, across to you. Our very first strategy is talking about the power of having a mock-up cover and pre-sales for your book.
Perfect. All right, Nat, this will probably be a good one that you'll be able to show some people with. So if those of you that have already written your book, especially if it's published, this obviously won't be applicable for you. But what we always recommend to start to build momentum around your book, and to start to generate not only sales, but opportunities very early, is to create a mock-up cover and actually pre-sell your book before it's even completed. Now, this is a strategy we introduced about 6 years ago, maybe even longer, at our retreat. So it's on the night of day one. We have already created, in the lead up to the retreat, a cover for our authors. Now, yes, these covers can change, and as you go through, we might get some feedback that we're wanting to alter things. The author might have a light bulb moment and they want to change something based on feedback, whatever it might be. But what they'll do is we encourage them to then have this done as a 3D. So we do it with a 3D cover because it makes it seem a lot more real and tangible. So our designer is really great at doing that rather than just a flat 2D cover. And we get our authors to announce out to their nearest and dearest, and some very strategically based on what we'll teach them. If they've got a database, or if they've got lots of connections on LinkedIn, or they might be in a lot of Facebook groups, or they might have connections and other people that could share this as well. We get them to share that mock-up cover, and we've created a sales link for them. So people can not only say, I want a copy of it, because there's a lot different that we found doing that initially, to actually giving people money for them. So you'll see these are the 3D versions, and that's popping up on the screen. So we'll have a payment link set up. Now, it can be as simple as again, we teach all of this, but if you're doing this yourself, as simple as a PayPal, sell on social link. Other people will add a shopping cart to a web page if they've already got one, or create a sales page. Because the things that happen when you do this, others all of a sudden say, wow, this is what you're doing now. When you're doing it on the social media, you'll find that you'll start to get other people starting to be, one, very interested in it. But the opportunities that our authors have had from this are actually quite amazing, even before the book is written. So they've had speaking opportunities come up, mass purchases from schools or from institutions that would know that the contact's very relevant for what they're doing. Just reconnecting with people from the past. So it gives you a lot of confidence and definitely impetus to make sure that you're going to go through with that project, because you're no longer accountable just to, like, say, if you're working with us, just to Nat or myself and the team. If you're working on your own or with someone else, you're not accountable just to you or that person, but you're accountable to the people that have purchased your book. So it's a great early strategy to start build excitement around your book. But not only that, start to get some money into the bank, which is always a great thing with your pre-sales. We always recommend you sell it at a pre-release price, maybe $5 or $10 cheaper. You can even offer an extra little bonus, whatever you can do to really start to, as I said, get as many pre-sales as you can, and then get those opportunities. So first tip is definitely don't wait through the process. Start early, start to recoup some money already on your investment, and get those opportunities coming in. That's my tip around that one.
I love it, Stuart. And actually, right now, I'm going to demonstrate something. I wasn't planning to do this, guys. I've been doing it in the back end while Stuart was talking. I'm going to set up my 15th book for pre-launch, and you guys are going to see it for the first time. Okay. So I've already had a mock-up cover designed by Nick. And what I've just done while Stuart was talking is I have gone into my PayPal account, and I'm going to set up a button to sell on social. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen, right? We're going to do it right here live. I don't have homework for later, Stuart. All right, so I've just gone into PayPal, guys, and I've clicked on, I'll just backtrack. I went too far. All right, so this is like my internal PayPal account. And then inside here, I will go into pay and get paid and sell on social. And I've already just downloaded the mock-up cover. So I'm just going to go into, that should be downloads here. Well, here we go. Here's my 3D mock-up cover. And I'm just going to call my, obviously, book sales won't make you rich. That's my book cover, a pre-release price. Don't need an item description. I normally make my pre-releases $19.95 in Australian. Maybe you can't have a little dot. We'll just do that. book sales will make you each product. Let me just see why it's turning red. The real truth, how authors become millionaires. Why is it not? What is? Oh, maybe this one. It's the little dash here that's causing trouble. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't like any dashes or dots. Here we go. We fixed it. All right. I normally do $5 shipping because there are in Australia prepaid bags you can get just for $5. Here's my link. And then now, and even a QR code. Guess what, you guys? You can scan this QR code. So I'm just going to scan it on my phone because I think that'll give me the link. All right, let's go. And what I normally do, all right, it's taking me there. Give me a sec. See, this is live. You're doing it in real time. Okay, here we go. I've got the link here. Copy. And if I just test this into my URL here, I can create a prettier link, right? There it is. Boom. And guess what, you guys? If I gave you the link right now into the chat box of what I put, by the way, I'm going to show you how to make a prettier link in a moment. You guys can go and pre-purchase my new book. It's called Book Sales Won't Make You Rich. The Real Truth, How Authors Become Millionaires. All right, there you go. We've just done our first pre-launch. Now, how do you make it pretty? You go to Bitly, and we're going to put the ugly link, the ugly long link in here, create new, and we are going to copy it, and I am going to call it just Book Sales Won't Make You Rich. No spaces, no capitalization, because it's just, otherwise you've got to remember all that. And I'm just going to generate, enter. And now we have got copy. And if I pop that link, you can test that link for me as well. But that prettier link should also work and take us to the exact same spot. You can make it simpler as well. There you go. That's how a pre-launch is done. All right, I'm going to move on to book strategy number 2, and that is the money is in the list. The money is in the list. So what does this mean? Every single one of us should be building a database, right, of people's names that we are going to stay in touch with and that we communicate with. Take the clock back, around the clock back 14 years ago. I started basically with the contacts in my address book of my Yahoo email account. There were 60 or 70 people in my address book. I took those contacts out, I put them on a spreadsheet, and I announced to them that I was becoming a life coach and that I was going to send out a regular newsletter to stay in touch, to let them know what was happening. And if they didn't want to be part of my emails, that they could just reply unsubscribe. Back then I didn't have a proper system that you could press unsubscribe. It was just reply back and I'll stop emailing you, stuff like that. And I just kind of was on a spreadsheet for probably a good 18 months to 2 years. After that, I went onto a platform called SendPepper, which was like a baby version of Office Autopilot. Don't worry about writing that down because that was old. Right now, what we use in our business is called ActiveCampaign. So many of you would have received emails from ActiveCampaign from us that have an official little unsubscribe button at the bottom. You get the regular daily emails. Now, if you're a client, you won't get as many emails than if you're not a client, because obviously when someone's not a client, we want to continue nurturing. We want to keep building the relationship and all that sort of stuff. So please, 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 please. So what now I did, I could now make an announcement to my database that, hey, the latest book is about to enter editing. This is what it's about. How exciting. Go and pre-purchase some, get it at $10 cheaper than than when it comes out at $30 or whatever Australian dollars. And so I know sales are going to come from that because, of course, my database has been building now. We have over 10,000 contacts in there. Also, what my plan is, when the August authors are launching in 3 weeks' time, they're pre-launching their books. That's when I'm going to pre-launch, just to do it with a group. It's always a lot more supportive. So it's kind of almost becomes this kind of campaign, but it's really, really, really key that you guys are building a list of people that you have permission to communicate with, of course. Don't just spam people. Yeah, you know, and the best way to build a database is to offer people something of value that they can receive for free from you, right? And so I have many different things. I have a free author checklist that I can run ads to, where people can download the checklist, 80-point first time author checklist. I often give away my Shut Up and Write Your First book for free, and for contact details, right? What else do I have? Well, our seminar, you guys, right? Many of you have been to our free 2-hour, 3-hour seminar. And that's a free thing where people come into my world, and then we nurture. Some of you on the call, we're not working with you officially yet. Some of you we are, but it's like continuing to add value to people over a period of time. But how do you stay in touch with those people? You have to have a list. You have to tell that list what's going on, what's coming up, right? And it becomes easier as, of course, the database grows. So at a very minimum, I'd be starting with a spreadsheet. Go and get family, friends, colleagues, whoever you know, and let them know what you're doing. Like Terry, I know you're new into this world and you're writing your book and you're right now in publishing. Give them an update. The book went into editing and this is what's happening. And I want to keep you guys posted as to how it's going on, right? And what's happening. And during your pre-launch and the pre-release, it's really good manners to keep people posted, because guess what? If some of you guys and some people pre-purchase my book, say here today, or even when I pre-launch it properly in 3 weeks' time when we do August retreat, often people think the book's going to come like next week. And it's like a whole 3-month process that you got to go editing, layout, print production to do a professional product. So it's really good over this 3-month period that you have got like a maybe series of videos. Let people know what your progress is going through as you're publishing your book. I'm currently in editing, I'm currently in layout, and you do this amazing, like you've been letting people know like where you are at with your book 2 publishing journey and things like that. So really, really, really important to keep people posted. And by having a database, you can give them those milestones through emails as well. It is key that we stay top of mind, because not everyone is ready to buy from us today, right? Not everyone is like, maybe they see it once, they forget. But if they keep being reminded that you exist or that your book is coming out, your pre-sales will also grow. So, but also once the book comes out, the communication and the regular way that you stay in touch with people is ultimately what's going to continue the sales, continue the relationships, and then in not even just books, but also all the other things that you have behind those books, if that's kind of the model that you have built. So I'm going to throw it now to Wendy, who's going to talk about strategy number 3, and that is all about giving it away, giving some of your books away for free. Go ahead, Wendy.
Hi, I just want to focus on giving your book away as a door prize. So who in the room actually goes to any network events or events where it's an opportunity for you to promote your book and what you're doing? Hand up if you actually go to events, a social event, an event on a calendar. Why not donate your book once you've got it published as a door prize? Because it will promote you in the room. It will elevate your credibility, and people will want to focus on you and come to speak to you about your book, how you've written it, and what the message is within the book. You can also add to your book some little special things, like I include a bookmark and also my business card as a way of highlighting particular aspects of the book. So about the author, the chapter sections, because then that will open up the book to the relevant chapters or topics that you're wanting them to read. If you know the host, or if you don't know the host, go up to them or speak to them before the event, because then they will actually edify you in the room. You'll probably get a 2 or 3 minute segment like I have now to actually talk to you, but you'll have the spotlight on you for that precious 2 or 3 minutes to be able to promote you in the room, and also, you'll be able to hold up your book quite proudly, and it will elevate you in the room. So be forward, go and talk to the host before the event and introduce yourself, what you do. And she may even already know who's coming. So she may make or he may make recommendations about who to talk to, but offer your book as a book prize really stands you ahead in that room to be able to focus on you, your book, and also your message.
Mm. I love it, Wendy. And what often has happened to me when I go into a networking event and I don't know anybody, even the organizer, I'll go up to them and introduce myself, and I'll ask, do you guys do door prizes here? Would you like a copy of my book as a door prize? And often that warms the relationship because you come across generous. They go, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we'd love to. And what often, sometimes they'll go, I'll come up to the stage, say, tell people what the door prize is about. And then I'll briefly explain what it is. Then people notice me, they come talk to me in the informal networking. But then at least I can remember 5 times throughout this whole time when I was networking heavily, I would get asked to be a speaker at that event in a few months' time, right? And then in a few months' time, I go back and be a speaker and present. And then, of course, then I'm in the power position, which is like obviously at the front of the room. And, you know, there would be other things that would happen as a result, more book sales, people coming to seminars, blah, 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 retreats and things like that. So from one book that may have cost you $7 to print, right? You're not giving away $30. You're giving away something that cost you $6 or $7 to print. It is your business card on steroids, as we like to say. You can have such massive opportunities because then often when people hear me speak, they're usually in those rooms. Sometimes there's a couple of other event organizers and then come up to me, would you speak at my event? And so the domino effect starts to happen. You become really, really busy with lots of opportunities to be in front of people, which leads me into that next one, the strategy number 4. And this is a big one, you guys, but this is the thing that got me off the ground. The reason why my first book was a success and took me from $7,000 in year 1 to 6 figures in year 2 was because of this tip that was given to me at my coaching school. When I graduated, they said, go out there and find clients. And I go, how do you find clients, right? And so they said, our recommendation is go networking. And we've talked about networking already, right? They go to 2 events every week and just build relationships to see how you can help people and show up and show up. Networking is not a magic bullet. It's a slow burn and it's about the long game, right? And I said, okay, that's what they said to do. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. 2 events every week. Not events that I spoke at, not events that I hosted myself, me just being an attendee, having a lunch, having a breakfast and all that sort of stuff. By showing up to 100 events in that first 12 months, because book number 1 came out in month 13, do you agree that I built a lot of like, know, and trust, at least in my city of Melbourne? Yeah. So whenever I'll show up to events, after like 9 months, people are like, oh no, like we had rapport, we had relationships. So when book number 1 came out at month 13, the opportunities came because the relationships were there. So chiropractors, personal wellness, personal training studio owners, they already have relationships. They wanted me to come and speak in front of their patients and clients after hours. And those are because the first book was on the weight loss, right? And those were the people that then became my first one-on-one coaching clients. And to build a one-on-one coaching client, you only need 15 clients for a 6-figure business, really. And it was 3 or 4 gigs, and that's where I was. And then it was like, oh shit, I've run out of time, right? So networking is king. And to this day, in my diary, where is my diary? Yeah, next to me. To this day, at the top of my diary, this is what I've designed. It says my 2 events this week are, okay? And this week, I've done the Melbourne event, tick, that's one off. And I'm speaking at the 100 Speaker Summit on Saturday, that's number 2. Often the events nowadays are ones that I host or that maybe I'm speaking at. Often I'm not just attending a lunch or a breakfast, but I do that every now and again as well. However, still sticking to that 100 event strategy. I know it might seem like a lot, guys, but they also don't need to be all face-to-face. Right now, this is an event. You agree? Like today, we're together for an hour, you're learning from me, you know, and I'm continuing to nurture my relationship with people that are yet to work with us or are already working with us, continuing on to add value, right? So that particular strategy, if I have to say, was I'm going to give you the top one at the end. That in the beginning, that was my top one. But right now, I would say it's my number 2, and I'm going to give you number 1 at number 10. All right, so I'm going to throw back to Wendy because she has been going to lunches and catch-ups for the last probably, I mean, I know you've been going for a while, Wendy, but you've been part of BX networking regularly now for the last 18 months. And that leads us into number 5, which is strategic alliances.
Yeah, so when you think of the word strategic alliance, it sounds very official and important and all that sort of thing. But these networking events, you're going to make lifelong friends at. So that's the number one thing that I want to kind of impart, that yes, but you also need to put on your business hat and identify, you know, how you can actually make that opportunity the best utilization of your time. So at networking events, online or offline, start to think about the readers or the potential clients that you're going to be serving from your book and your strategies from your book, if that's what you're doing. And then what I want you to think about is who in the room is also looking after those clients, but they're not in a direct competitor state to what you are. So let me give you an example. If you're like us, we work in the book mentoring and publishing industry. The types of referral partners that I'm looking for in the room are website designers, they're accountants, they're business coaches. So I'm looking to talk, so I know those sort of 3 categories of people will be talking to new business owners or startup businesses. So your relationship with those key people is paramount to develop so that you can actually build that rapport and they become your relationships to be able to build that like, know and trust with them, so that they know that they can actually refer their good clients to you if they hear, oh, I think a book would be a good idea in my business. So that's kind of where your strategy comes into play for that. And also you're looking at the relationship, because if you're developing a good rapport and a fit with them, then they're likely to have the clients that are going to have the relationship that you're wanting to have for your clients. So you want to attract the people that you want to serve. So building that relationship is really important. Saying yes to opportunities. So if they actually say, oh, look, I've got an event on next Saturday where I think, you know, what you do is in line with what we're promoting for our audience. If they're giving you a speaking opportunity, then go for it. You know, that's an opportunity to actually be on the stage and promote you, but also support that relationship there with your new acquaintance. I'm going to say also the timing of your release. I just added that as a last point, just listening to Nat and Stu. Think about the opportunities that you can have for that strategic promotion of your book. There might be, for me, I'll give my examples. 2 of my books are nursing related books. So I announced around International Nurses Day this year, we put on an event to celebrate nurses, and it was an online event. And we promoted the pre-release of this 3rd book here. So if you can think about, you know, the timing of your release, that's a strategic alliance, or that's a plan into your future that you can leverage the exposure to what you're actually doing.
Nice one. I've just put a note there, Wendy. Think the question that you should always be asking yourself, you're not looking for buyers of your book, but who advises my ideal client, or who advises my ideal reader? And that's what I, you know, when I was weight loss, I'm not gonna look for people, oh, you need to lose weight, or like find me clients that want to lose weight. That's just like, it doesn't work that way. So by finding chiropractors, health and wellness, they advise their ideal client, my ideal client, which means they can put me in front of also an abundance of those ideal clients in one go.
I might add too that it is a long process.
Yep.
It's not going to happen next week that you're going to see the outcome of your energy. So it is like Nat said, I've been a member of BX and been going consistently to a couple of groups in Brisbane. I'm developing the relationships there. So it is a long process to reap the fruition. Like Nat, you went down to Sydney for Business Blueprint, and you'd known, you know, a few of the authors that came on board from there for a couple of years prior to that. So that was a relationship that you had built.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like being part of Business Blueprint, that's this. It's not only I'd go there to learn more to develop myself, but it is for networking. And Dale and I feel like we have that strategic alliance happening. With the speaking event that I'm a part of this Saturday, guys, Kaylee Chu and myself are in a collaborative relationship, right? You can call them joint venture, you can call them collaborations, whatever your strategic alliances or partnerships, that's all the same thing. We have the exact same audience, but we offer something that's not in competition to each other. So we're quite complementary, our values match. That's very, very important that you have got a value match with the people. And of course, once you find your ideal, so you don't want to be having too many, you want to have one person for one thing. So if I was to send someone to develop their speaking skills, Kaylee's kind of my go-to. For publicity, it's Kate Engler. So I've got like the different things that I don't like that conflict of interest, that there's lots of other options out there. So once you develop the relationship, you stick with that kind of person, and it goes both ways really, really well. Okay, which leads me perfectly into that sixth point about speaking. Speaking is one of the, call it a high touch marketing strategy, right? Yes, speaking can be online, and we're doing that right now, right? I certainly believe with the world changing, you should do a mix of both. But if you want to progress a little bit faster and sell more books, face-to-face speaking is second to none. Okay. Why? Well, I've been running my business the last 4.5 years online, right? We do the seminars and all that sort of stuff. We still promote our books and all that, but not as many books kind of get people click on the website and all that sort of stuff. The minute I came out of my house and I went to deliver the first workshop on the Gold Coast, $1,500 worth of books were sold in that workshop. The other day in Melbourne, $850 worth of books were sold in that workshop, right? That's just like, when people meet you, the rapport and the closeness and the fact they can see you, touch you, kind of all of that sort of stuff is really, really powerful way to move books. So in terms of speaking and authoring, they're the two, a match made in heaven, right? Of course, for some of you who have more behind your book than just the book, you will do even better from speaking, right? Even better, because people will be curious. What if you do have consulting or a program or a problem that you solve through a particular system and a process? Then people will be curious. Well, how do I do this next step and all that sort of stuff? And I think this ties in with my final strategy at the end. But speaking, create yourself at least at a minimum a speaker bio. Okay, a speaker bio is something that positions you as an expert. I might actually be able to pull up like a couple of examples here on the screen for you to look at. Business resources, speaker bios. All right, I've got them up here. So it's just a very simple document. Let me share my screen. That you can get a graphic designer or do it yourself in Canva. I would suggest if you don't know how to play on Canva, then don't. This is Dr. Beck Jackson. This is her speaker by a little introduction about her 3 topics she talks about, like keynotes with 3 takeaways and some of her media and a copy of her book there. Faye Reed, Jamie Lang. These are just examples of some. Dr. Joe. There's our own Julie Fisher, her old speaker bio. These are just some examples. My old speaker bio with various books that I've had there, media logos and all that sort of stuff. So they're just an example. So I think having something like this, a lot of people will say, I want to speak. But then, and if they see a social media post for a speaker call out and about 100 people go onto that post going, yeah, I can speak. What separates those people from each other? Nothing. Like, it's like just noise. But if you have a professionally designed PDF, 1-pager, who you are, what you can deliver, your book on there, your credibility, if you had media logos, put them on there. You send it across, privately to the person that's put out that message. Hey, I saw your post in this group. You're looking for speakers. Here's my bio. If you think it would add value, let me know. All of a sudden, it separates you from everybody else. Print it off on a nice A4 glossy paper. Have it in your bag. You go networking, you meet with organizers. You never know where the conversation's going to go. Give them the speaker bio. Guess what? It also shortcuts what you need to say about yourself. You know, so often organizers, they need your introduction. They need a photo of you. They need this, that, the other. Guess what? Your speaker bio has everything there. They can just take it off that, and you don't have to do the homework or have to email them everything. Please update your speaker bio every 6 to 12 months as your profile grows. As you might be writing more books, you might want to put more books on there and all that sort of stuff. It is really, really, really key. It's an easy thing. It's a one-pager, but I can't tell you how many people just, I tell them to do it and they don't do it. So please do it if you want to do more speaking. All right, I'll throw it across. Where are we up to? We're up to social media. That's me again. Then it's M with pod. So we've got to talk about social media. We're going to talk about podcasting, reviews, and running your own events. Okay, so social media is a big can of worms. We're not going to open up fully today. I want to make note of the newest thing that you should be doing on social media. So should you be posting regularly, sharing value content? Yes, all of that. Yes, yes, yes. Images, posts, quotes, you know, being consistent. All of that is key to building an international audience. This is the first way how you have the capacity to go international. How did I end up in the Middle East and the US and all that? Through the power of Facebook ads and being consistently posting on there. There was no other way I was going to make it out there unless I had a way to let people know what was going on, right? And when I was coming and all that sort of stuff. But the newest thing that's working really, really effectively is short form videos. Short form videos. So you would know them as TikToks or Reels and things like that. So that's the thing that really all of us need to get into and be teaching, because we like to consume human beings. They want everything fast, right? And yesterday, you know, we want to learn small micro lessons, you know, 45 to 60 seconds. I did a whole hour workshop in my Book Accelerator membership. I know there's a couple of people here that are part of it. I think Rita, I don't know if you were there the other day, but I did a whole hour on this topic with the guys and the ins and outs. But basically, to keep it simple, guys, my biggest tip is choose to do a series, right? Where the background of what you're doing is kind of the same, but you're doing different topics. So if I can show you just briefly, I reckon I can go in there right now. And where I do mine is in my garage. No one can tell it's my garage though. And the funny thing is, one's coming out very soon that actually, as a joke, I say, I have got a garage full of books. Check them out. You know, because one of the biggest fears authors have is garage full of books. And I talk about that in that particular reel. But I'm just going to show you this. These ones. Let me see if I can get into my TikTok. My daughter, my 13-year-old daughter, I recently, about March this year, I discovered that she was really clever at TikToks and editing and all that sort of stuff. And I decided that I would change her role in our business from posting curated social media content on different pages to being my TikTok person. And so we made a pact that we were going to release one video every week. And I'm just going to share my screen so you can see it behind in my TikTok account, and you can see those videos here. So this is like what we call a series, and you can see like what the topic is about. But not only do I share them here, I put them across to my Facebook account as well. So I repurpose them, and they're those micro lessons of what I'm teaching you today. Could I do a short form video on this? You know, I can say, hey, the most powerful strategy to, you know, selling the most books in one go is speaking. And then I'll go tip 1, 2, 3, create a speaker bio, do this, and bump, finished, right? And so the point is to be consistent, because, you know, people are scrolling, they're flicking through, because if they engage with you through one video, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go to your profile and they're going to start watching all your videos in your library. I know I do that. I don't know if you've ever found someone that's super funny and then you go, oh, I want to laugh more. So you go to their profile and you keep watching all of their videos in the library, which means you spend more time with them. And that's the key thing. When people start to spend more time with you, they connect, because I don't know if you know about this, but it takes 10 to 12 hours of content consumption before someone is ready to buy from you. It takes 10 to 12 hours. So how are you releasing the content? Are you writing emails? Are you doing short form videos? Your book, obviously reading your book, watching it, all that sort of stuff that builds that trust. Yeah. So that's the newest thing that is happening, that if we need to become persistent at. Do you have to do it? You don't. We're sharing with you 10 strategies. If you can pick 3 and go deep and just do those really well, you'll do really well, right? I'm just doing 10 that, this is one I've committed to very intensely for 2024. And that's what I'm, kind of building my muscle on. All right, I'm going to throw now to number 8 is the podcast circuit. So Em is going to come off mute, and Em will talk about her podcasting experience as a brand new author. Like Em's book came out about 8 months ago, and also about starting her own podcast and the power of that.
Yes. So when I released my book, I originally just wanted to release a book and that was it. And then I started getting these opportunities I saw on social media about being guests on podcasts. I started networking, and other people would send me opportunities and say, hey, this might be good for you, and inquire. And so far I've been on 5 different podcasts and I've got another 2 booked. And then I thought, well, how can I get my message out there? So I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to start my own podcast. So I started researching, and there's 2 ways. You can go through a company and they will provide you with a studio, editing, and you just go in there, show up and record whatever you want to record. Or there's other options where you can set up your own little recording studio at home with just a microphone, a laptop, and start recording your own podcast. So I've chosen to go down the studio path just because I wanted it, I don't know, more professional looking. So I rock up there once a month for 3 hours. I record as much as I can, and then that's building my episodes now. So my plan is to release an episode every 2 weeks, but have that library behind me and have, episodes in advance. But going back to being guests on podcasts, never say no. So if anyone comes up to you and says, do you want to be on my podcast? Absolutely, yes, because that is how you then gain access to their database. So in the podcast or in the interview, you get the opportunity to tell your story, promote your business, promote your book, and then you get access to the person interviewing you and their whole database. Because when they release their episode, they put your website and your social media handles and everything in the description. So anyone that listens to that episode would then be able to just access my website by clicking on the link. So it's a good way of networking and getting yourself out there.
I love it. And I was just going to share, at one point, one of my years, again, as I said, you can't focus on absolutely everything of these strategies, but one of the years that I was doing, I got on the podcast circuit basically. And I went as far as getting on John Lee Dumas, who's a very famous American podcaster. His podcast is called Entrepreneur on Fire. You can look it up and you can put my name in there. The day that podcast went live, my database grew by 500 people. Literally, people are coming back, and contacting me and reaching out and stuff like that. It is very powerful. And one of the things Em and I spoke about, this is kind of the first place where you can go international, because you've done podcasts with people in America. Is that right?
Yeah, so I've been on one American podcast and my one that I've got lined up. And the one that I've got lined up was very simple. I got invited to a mastermind through another connection, a 1-hour masterclass thing. Yeah. I logged in, and then at the end of that masterclass, whoever attended was going to get the opportunity to go on a big podcast in America. And so I jumped at the opportunity and I said, yep, I'll do it. I sent everything across to him, and yeah, we're in the middle of trying to line up a date for that now.
I love
So
it.
yeah, suddenly going global now.
Exactly. And this is the one that I was on. This guy says had 173 million listens, and his income from this podcast is at 125,000. And this is the one where he interviewed me. The funny thing was it came out exactly on my birthday. So on that year, 24th of May, 2015. Oh my God, it was like 9 years ago that I was doing that. But it is a wonderful, podcasting is here. It's well and truly is one of the more things like short form videos. Podcasting is there, and definitely having your own one and taking that responsibility. The way I do one, so Em does it the super professional way, and sometimes that may not be affordable for everybody. I do mine as a Facebook Live. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, every Monday morning, most Mondays, unless I'm on holidays, at 9 a.m., I do an author interview of someone who's recently published, right? And so this Monday just gone, Julie, who works for us, but she's just released her 4th book, Big School. Her and I jumped on and we actually talked about publishing children's books and using AI for illustrations. And so what happens is I've made that commitment that 9 to 9:30 every Monday is my interview day, and I go live and I record it through the live stream. And what my VA Lindy does is she extracts the audio from that live, and then she puts it on Spotify through my podcast, which is 48 Hour Author. Now, it's not the super professional edited version. She has a little song and jingle that goes at the start, at the end. But you know what? I'm not about perfectionism. I'm about putting it out there. Can I tell you, though, how many people I've had come up to me and say, oh, I've been listening to your podcast. That's how I found you, and this and that. And then they start working with me. And it's not even the most, I just, like I'm talking to you right now, that's how I do it. I don't even have any whiz-bang microphone. The thing is, I've committed, and I've got probably well over 200 episodes. And that's how mine happens. I just know 9 to 9:30, that's what gets me in the mood for the week. I get to interview our published author. They get to say lovely things about us. They get to promote their book. It's a win-win-win all across the board. I send that episode to my database, right? The money's in the list, but the database gets to see the author's book. So the author gets some promotion and book sales from that. Vice versa, we also get to show the database and feature our authors. It's powerful. It is super powerful. All right. So it's nice to be stumbled upon. Oh, yeah, exactly. All right. So I'm going to throw to Stuart. He's going to talk about the power of reviews. So, and then I'll finish off with my top strategy.
Perfect. Now, this is one that I love, and it's really, really beneficial and helpful for people that have written a personal story, for those of you that might have written fiction books, that there's not kind of much more behind it than your desire that you wanted to write that book. So a lot of those business building or other opportunities that we've spoken about for leverage and marketing, you just might feel as though, well, that's kind of not something I want to do. But how you can definitely send more copies in there, sell more copies of your book, is to have people leaving reviews for you. Now, the ones that are best to have reviews on are Amazon, and Goodreads is another one where a lot of people, Goodreads is more for fiction books, so creative writing and fiction style. And then Amazon, of course, is great for everything. So you do need to have an Amazon, they do need to have an Amazon account to be able to leave a review for you. But if they are able to do that, for several reasons, it does give that credibility immediately. If someone happens to stumble across your book or they're looking for a topic and your book comes up, whereas they immediately see it's rated 4.3 or 4.5 or whatever it might be, obviously the more 5-star ratings you're going to ask for and get from your friends and clients, or friends and acquaintances, the better it's going to be. Because if you see a book that's got 1-star review, you're probably not going to buy it. So Amazon and the Goodreads algorithms will start to, they have like featured sections. And so sometimes they'll have hot new releases. So if you happen to have an Amazon bestseller, it will automatically put it up in the algorithm. But the same goes for if you're getting a lot of reviews on your book, because their system's going to say, wow, this has got another 5-star review, this has got a 4-star review. And they will start to, because you know how many books are on Amazon, they'll start to show it more than on the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th page, almost like a Google algorithm. So the way you do it is just, ask your friends, hey, you know, even if you can leave the review on an ebook if it's a lower cost, but generally your friends and close family and that, they're going to help you. So if they can write a review on your book, not just give that a number as well, like a 5-star review, get them to say some really good things about it. Now, some of you might be going, oh, but that's deceptive if they don't do it. If they're your close friends and family, okay, I'm sure they're going to think your book's pretty cool anyway, you know, unless you got Auntie Dawn, who's a miserable old git and doesn't want to do anything like that. No, they won't know, Jess, sorry, that's written that. So this is for Amazon. You can definitely anyone can leave a review. You could open a different account with you and you could leave a review on it. No one's going to know. So definitely ask for reviews. It will certainly help more people see your book, have higher credibility in that space, and have more book sales. So that's just a short one I wanted to share with everybody, Nat, for those that aren't doing business style ones.
Yeah, and if I can add on to that, of late, we've been building up our Google reviews if you are a business owner on the call. And one of the things I learned at the last Business Blueprint conference is the power of this, but the power of the quality of the review, right? So they told us, you know, just one sentence is not good enough. So Anne, actually, you were my number one person while I was at the conference. I messaged Anne, can you please leave me a review? And I actually educated Anne through 5 different steps of what makes a good review, which is what we got taught. And one of the things is if they can write a few sentences, you use the keywords around what you do and then put photos. You know, of course, with I actually think on Amazon Stuart, you can put a photo, because one of my buddies from Business Blueprint, Jackson Milan, asked me to review his book, which I always love Jackson. He's one of my mentors as well. And what I did is I think I held up the book, or was it in front of my computer, and I took a selfie of me reading the book and actually posted on Amazon, and I added a photo for him as well of me reading the book. So that's kind of, and I think it would work the same way, is the more, I guess, juicy it is. So educate people. People are not going to know how to leave you a good review. Some people are literally going to go 5 stars and nothing, and that's it. You know, it's like, and, you know, and you can ask. I sometimes have asked people to edit it. Could you please add this to it? And you forgot the photo and all that sort of stuff. It takes a lot of effort. But when people, you know, come to you and you kind of go, don't hear it from me, here's all our reviews and all the places. And actually what I did, if you guys want to check this out, I have a pre-set up handy links area. I'll just show you what I do on my computer. Because, you know, we have to send each other a lot of links for this and links for that, links for that. So what I did on my notes in my computer, I have all these links, and I have an area here, read reviews here. So often when someone like kind of goes, oh, let me know what people are, I just go, here you go, read the Google reviews, read the LinkedIn reviews, Facebook page reviews, YouTube, author interviews, and all that. I'll send them that and say, just check us out. Don't hear it from me. This is what everyone is saying about us, right? So I have it all like nice and handy and organized. And I do my best to try to get reviews everywhere. So when someone leaves me a Google one, I say, if you don't mind cutting and pasting this on LinkedIn and Facebook, that would be really awesome, because people look at you in different places. So I don't have to go now at 11, because I had a message that something came up with a family member of this person I was meant to be speaking at 11. So don't rush. We can take some questions. Now, my most powerful strategy is you guys taking ownership and running your own events. Okay? Running your own events. Hiring a venue, getting bums on seats. Now, it's a lot of hard work. I know that. I've been doing it for the last 13 and a half years. But gosh, does it return on investment massively. Now, if you're purely going to sell books alone, those of you that have like just the book, it's just the book, this is a strategy I perhaps would not recommend for you, because it's too much effort and costs. I would be tapping into getting speaking gigs. And it doesn't matter if they're paid or free. If you're purely like a memoir and you've written a story and there's no business behind it, I think just go look for speaking gigs, podcast interviews, that. If you're a business owner, however, on the other side, and you have consulting, coaching, a system that you get, run your own events. Guys, multi-million-dollar strategy. We've produced, I think, off the top of my head, I'll say $15 million from one seminar. Okay, how? So 11 years ago, I started running our signature seminar that most of you will probably have been to, right? First of all, it was face-to-face. Then he went online during COVID. Now it's like we're staying online, plus we're doing some face-to-face, plus a hybrid. I know a couple of you were on a recording, half with Wendy and Em, right? We're calling that a hybrid. And because we were on holidays with our children in Bali. And the girls did an amazing job. You know, some of you who are new authors here were on that seminar then. So kind of we've grown again to a different model option. So because when Stuart and I had to do this seminar, we were getting up in the middle of the night from Malaysia, from Macedonia, from Canada, from the US. I've done this seminar from every hotel room you can possibly think of. And our dream was, how can we go on holidays and not have to log into the seminar? And that's when, you know, we've been trialing this for the last 3 or 4 months this year. We've done it 3 times. And now it's like, we know how to do it properly. But it's the same content. Of course, I tweak and grow, and with the times I've adjusted it. But for 11 years, over 400 times, this same thing, and now I'm back into the real world. So how do you arrive at this? Well, your seminar is really part of your book, right? It is really part of the value that you deliver with your system through your book, where you can get people and, like, you know, show them what's possible, give them a few wins. Don't make it a pitch fest. Make it high value, because if you make it high value, people are going to want to know, how can I work with you? And you can have a call to action, of course, at the end of it. Don't not tell them what to do. Don't go without a call to action, but you don't have to make it like those seminars where you kind of go and you go, let's say today, have we given you lots of value today, right? Have I given you a call to action yet? No. Will I do it in 2 minutes time? Yeah. And then I'm probably going to take only 1 minute to do it. And that's it. Because to me, the most important thing is to educate. Once I educate and people love learning from me, generally they will go, well, how can I do more work with you, and all that sort of stuff. So really, really powerful strategy. This is the thing that's been the number one. This is the thing that, so networking and speaking took me to 6 figures and more to 6 figures. Running my own seminar took me to 7 and more to 7 figures. Okay? It's not easy. There is lots of nuances in running events and retreats and all that sort of stuff, but it's very leverageable, okay? And it really connects with people. Live seminars are more powerful and you'll get faster results from. Online seminars still deliver a result. Just know that you're going to nurture and have more touch points for people, you know, to end up working with them. So I hope you had learned lots and taken lots of notes. My call to action is, if you're not working with us and you're curious as to how you can work with us, book a call with one of us. Let's explore where you're at, and we can create a customized solution for what you're wanting to achieve. So in the chat box right now, I've popped in 3 links. One is for Em, one is for Wendy, and one is for me. Now, Wendy and Em are available immediately after the call for the rest of today. And myself, I'm available from Monday, okay? Because tomorrow I have a 12-hour event I've got to be at, and Stuart and I are going straight to lunch after this and having half a day off. So when Wendy and Em are available, and then I'm from Monday onwards. If you're not currently working for us, this is relevant to you. The next piece before I take question, the next piece I want us to sort out together is next month's webinar. Okay, so next month's webinar, write this date down at your end, is the 16th of August in Australia, 10 a.m. That will be the 15th of August in the US, 8 p.m. East time. Terry, I'm talking in your time zone. If there's PST, you can work out from EST. All right, now I'm going to post 3 topics in the chat right now. You can see 3 topics there. Number 1 topic, 10 structure secrets to make your book a success. Number 2, 10 powerful time hacks to find the time and finally write your book. Number 3 is 10 publishing insights every first-time author should know. So you guys get to vote now. You're going to put 1, 2, or 3. in the chat of what's your preference. And if you do have a topic idea that you would really love to know about, and it's not one of these three, can I please get you to post it in the chat, and I'll read it later and put it on my list, because we want to be coming up with new ones each month, right? And then I will bring out, like, obviously those topics, or email us. Email us is fine as well. So let's have a look. We got 1, 2, 3 threes, 4 ones. Come on, I need like, okay, 3, 4 threes, 4 ones, more threes. Okay, another couple, and then I'll call it. All right, another one. Oh, guys, you guys are like evening it out between 3 and 1. Oh God, now it's the same. 1, 2, 3 more. Okay, 3. I think 3 takes the thing. So 10 publishing insights every first-time author. Okay, so this one I'm going to bring in Vivian Julie to also throw in there, because they're on my publishing team. So we're going to do the 10 publishing insights. Now, if you want to attend and you don't want to do the hard work of registering yourself, please put the word yes into the chat box now, and Lindy is going to register you automatically so that you get all the reminders ahead of time. So all the hard work's been done for you. I'll give her the chat log, and Lindy will pre-register you so that you get all the bits and pieces. So just put a yes in the chat box, and we'll get you sorted out for that one. Perfect. Beautiful. All right, keep going. Let me just see, have I covered everything off? I've given the links, and don't forget, my book is on pre-sales, right? You can get a copy of my book right now. Now I'll tell you a little bit about what it's about, what my passion for this book. So this is and then I'll take some questions. If you have a question, put it in the chat, or I'll take you off mute. Put your virtual hand up and I'll take you off mute. As I said, I don't have to rush off immediately now, as I did about half an hour ago. You want the link? Who's going to be the first one to pre-purchase my book, you guys? Let's see. And I'm going to write the big number 1 on the book. Let me find the link once again, because I saved it here in my doc file. I'll tell you what the book is about, though. So I feel like I have arrived. Let me just share my website, because I want to share the story behind how this came about. I'm just going to open up something on my website, and you guys might know this, but you know how I've written a trilogy around the authoring books. So if I go to our shop page, so we've got this trilogy, which we call the Power Pack now. It's this one here. So Shut Up and Write Your First Book was all about the mindset side of writing a book. 48 Hour Author is the process, and then Shut Up and Sell Your First Book was about the 48 strategies to part of the 10 we shared with you are part of the 48. So there's more there, guys, you can get, right? And so I felt that I needed to do the next one, the logical sequence, And so if we look at the cover one more time, so here's the cover of this one. Book sales won't make you rich. The real truth behind how authors become millionaires, the Author Wealth Blueprint. So I really wanted to share in this book the wealth building strategy behind building a business, making sure you stay profitable. But obviously, it's first of all about book to leverage. So it's divided into 3 parts: book to leverage, then leverage to profit, and then profit to freedom. So they're the 3 parts. And the 4th part is stories from authors who have also done this in their own lives. Because Stuart and myself, like we've wanted to, obviously we worked so hard because we wanted our family to be okay, but then this became bigger than us. So it became about our extended family, then our team. And now we feel like we're taking care of a lot of people who are engaged in this business, but at the same time, we've invested so that one day when we don't want to work anymore, we can, right? So becoming kind of financially independent. So it's that journey from write a book. And we achieved that. About 3 years ago, our financial advisor said, you guys are financially independent. If you sell everything and you invest in an 8% return thing, you can just live your lifestyle, right? But as if I'm going to stop working. Like how, and this is one of the things I've always pondered about. Why do people who become successful keep working, right? Why do they keep working? And I always go, and then I start to think, well, what the hell, we get, as human beings, work, and we want to feel like we contribute, right? We want to be useful and helpful to people. That's why we keep working. It's no longer becomes about the money. It becomes about the impact that you feel you can make to other people. Thank you, Terry, for giving me a thumbs up, because I keep thinking, why? But because I know someone said about December, they switch off and they're completely off. And I take 6 weeks off, like 3 weeks in December, 3 weeks in January. That's school holidays here at summer. And I don't know about you guys, but the end of those freaking 6 weeks, I say to myself, how much sitting around can one person do? Like seriously, I start to feel like I'm like losing my mind, and that I'm becoming dumb, and that I'm no creativity, no innovation, so like I can't wait to get back in with people. And like after this call today, I'll be on fire. Like I'll be just like so excited about everything. And it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter what happens. I just love kind of teaching, and that's what lights my fire. And so that's what this book is about. It's like, it's talking about what's your enough number, retiring family. Should you retire? And all this kind of stuff. It's kind of where my mindset is now grown to. And I felt I needed to write this next level of book that I feel like I'm now on the other side. I can look back and write in hindsight. Okay, that's what it's about. Awesome. Oh, thank you guys, for those of you that have purchased. All right, is there any hot burning question that I can answer that it is, that you want to know about sales and marketing?
Jess put a question in earlier.
Yes,
I've just repeated it for her.
Oh, I thought KDP does not allow family to leave reviews. But how do they know who's your family? Do you know what I mean? How do they know? Unless you're doing it from the same computer at the same house, and the IP address could be the same. And you know what? Sometimes Google also doesn't post everyone's reviews that I left on your account. And I don't know why, but so many of my authors have left reviews and I can't see them. But they appear at my end. So sometimes there's a little gremlin in the system as well that may prevent some review from appearing. But just ask. My mum's left a review, I think, for me, and I mean, we have completely different names as well, so no one could even tell that we're related. But yeah, awesome. All right, is there anyone that wants to wave at me and say something? Are you guys ready to go? Ready to go to enjoy your weekend? And Natalie, you're waving at me. Come off mute.
I bought your book. Am I the first?
Are you the first? I'm gonna go big Natalie, and number one in the book and all that sort of stuff. Well, now guess what? I have to finish it, because I wrote for 2 hours. I wrote 4,000 words last night. I'm at about 35,000 words, and I can't wait to. I've got 7 more mini chapters, and I'm waiting for 2 authors to submit their chapters into me. So I've already told my editor, will you take my book in next weekend? Because I'm going to Sydney the week after, and then I've got the retreat. So I do not want to have anything on my deck after next weekend. So when it will be out, so if it's end of July, so August will be editing, September will be layout, print production, end of October-ish, expect it. Okay. All right, guys, beautiful. Thank you so much for supporting it. To me, it is not about book sales. It is about continuing to educate. Everything else happens because I've educated. Oh, I love heart. Thank you so much. And this is our mantra. We do our authors every time we do a retreat. When we've learned something and it feels overwhelming, we just go 1, 2, 3. This is simple. This is easy. This is fun. And those that know how to do it, they're doing it right now. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Bye. Bye.